Right now, music to make you want to fall in love.
Is it even worth it if there ain't heartbreak waiting?
From being raised by music royalty.
Her advice to me was always, write the music you want to write.
To creating a soundtrack for millions of people.
And in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, this recording of a song, you can feel like you've walked in my shoes for years.
We dive into the world of JOHNNYSWIM.
Plus, in the chat, are you good enough?
He wants to break up his brother's engagement because he thinks he is settling.
Then, reality TV hits the desert. Is this real?
Here's the tea.
That's what I want, the tea.
An exclusive sit-down with one of the faces you'll see on TLC's hit show 90 Day, The Last Resort. This Arizona's Family original with me, Yetta Gibson, starts right now.
Every night she gets in bed, no longer tempered in her head. It's so brutal, all this keeping it together. And at her window there's a breeze, whispers tomorrow might be easier.
Oh, their music is so beautiful. Songs you can feel right to your core. Tonight, I sit down with a singer-songwriter duo living out their own lives through every single song while connecting with millions of you around the world.
We'd have each other every time,
not just in this life, but in thousands.
JOHNNYSWIM.
Yeah.
so you can give me this whole life with you standing by my side.
Abner Ramirez and Amanda Sudano Ramirez are JOHNNYSWIM.
If I'm in an Uber and somebody's taking me to a venue and they're like, oh, you're playing tonight? Yeah. Well, what kind of music is it? Regular music. What do you mean it's regular music? I say, imagine there's a guitar in the corner right now and I grab it.
Okay.
And I start singing some songs to you and I'm pretty good.
Okay.
You're probably about 60% right. Whatever you just made up in your head.
So I gotta learn the hard way.
The husband and wife duo are behind a mix of soulful, genre-bending music, fusing blues, pop, rock, folk, even bolero influences.
¿Cómo fue? No sé decirte cómo fue.
The way these two came together starts much like the root of their songs, with one hell of a story.
Do you want to tell it or really?
I'll tell it, yeah.
Okay, you tell your side, and then I'll tell my side.
I was dating a girl.
Don't get it wrong.
I can't. I'm sitting in the back, church lets out, and I see this angel, this being, and it was Amanda, and I thought to myself, that's the girl I'm going to marry. I've never had that feeling, that
Just
thought
on
ever in my
site.
life, on site. And but I also said it out loud, and I said, that's the girl I'm going to marry. And I literally, in that breath, got dumped. The girl I was dating, which I should. I deserve that, absolutely.
They didn't talk then, and it would be 4 more years before Amanda and Abner even crossed paths again, until that one day.
I fly to Nashville to see my parents, and I go to meet a friend at a coffee shop. I walked in, and I saw my friend. I go, oh, hi, Matt. And all of a sudden, Abner turned around and sees me, and he goes, I've been wanting to meet you for so long.
And did you know it was him from 4 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew it was him.
I wanna love you till it's done.
And as hopeless romantics would say, as fate would have it, the two fell in love and discovered a common passion for making music. In 2008, the duo released their first self-titled EP. A year later, they married and eventually released their full-length album called Diamonds in 2014. Abner credits his father, who he calls the ultimate storyteller, as his influence for songwriting about any and everything.
We write about our experiences in life, whether it's good, bad, ugly, beautiful, or depressing. We try to capture a feeling, a big feeling, typically. And in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, this recording of a song, you can feel like you've walked in my shoes for years in a 3-minute experience.
I think one of you described it as a diary.
Yeah.
You know, you're reading someone's diary.
Yeah.
And the couple's no stranger to the world of fame. Amanda is the daughter of music royalty. Her parents are the queen of disco herself, Donna Summer, and music producer Bruce Sudano. It's something Amanda says she tried to downplay when she first started her career.
It wasn't hard for me to escape my mom's shadow because of anything she would say or do. When I first started writing songs, before I even met Abner, people would meet me and say, oh, okay, great, we have this producer for you and we can make you the next Donna Summer. And I was like, well, I don't write songs like that. And she was really great about always encouraging me to find my own voice and, do whatever, write whatever you want to write. Because as soon as somebody takes, for her, it was disco, right? Like, her love of music was really, really broad, but she got, known as this one thing. And then she had a really hard time ever being able to do anything else because the labels and, people would be like, no, you have to do dance, right? This is it, the box you're in. So her advice to me was always write the music you want to write. Don't let anybody tell you what you should write. And even if your journey takes longer or you don't get as popular, you'll always be much more satisfied with the work that you produce. And so she was actually the one that helped me survive her shadow.
I feel like you're hearing this for the first time.
Her parents have always supported us so much. I was telling the story earlier today that we were in New York playing a show, a real small show, and we had a show the next day in Connecticut. Amanda's parents happened to be there, and they offered to drive us to Connecticut. We politely declined. It's going to be embarrassing. We've sold 8 tickets. You don't need to come. And I remember they insisted. I'll never forget what Donna said to Amanda. She's like, sweetheart, one day you're never going to be able to get back to this. One day you'll be on tour buses and on airplanes, you'll be playing these big shows. You'll never get back to the 8 seats.
I was born into a storm, a hot 8 miles wide.
And Donna was right. JOHNNYSWIM now tours around the world, opening up their hearts and their lives to their fans, all while taking their 3 kids along for the ride.
Our goal always in our live shows is for it to feel like a living room, to have every night be a little bit different because the audience is different every night. So there's different interactions that are going to happen. But I do think you kind of get a lot of us in a show.
Will I even know?
Their newest tour, When the War Is Over, couples with their latest album and song of the same name.
And what is the most diary song that you have?
Oh, when the war is over.
It's about me walking through like a time of chronic illness and trying to figure out how to deal with the trauma that comes with not being well for a long period of time and losing touch with yourself and what feels normal, because normal you would maybe go to the hospital if they felt the symptoms that you're feeling, but like current you has to just, make your kids lunch and move on with your day, and kind of reconciling who I was before illness.
Heaven is everywhere. Heaven is everywhere.
This duo never shies away from diving deep on issues anyone, including you or I, may be dealing with, from marriage, parenting, loss, sickness, depression.
Oh, let's burn the bridges down.
You guys are literally building a soundtrack of your lives.
Yes.
Yeah, well said.
And for millions of others.
Don't apologize for crying.
She wrote a song called Psilocybin that acknowledges that season of my life of working through depression. And it's not a love song, but it's the most romantic song I can imagine, because in the chorus she says, listen, if you change, I'm changing too. Where one goes, we all go. We're going together. It's that's
therapy.
Yeah. So that song.
With it and true and good to the vow.
The goal for these two, they say, is never stadium tours or awards. Even a Grammy won't do.
Let's go have a lot of success. Let's go sell a lot of records, play a bunch. That's not the target ever.
We've seen some mountaintops and we've seen some, areas where we didn't get as far as we would have hoped when we were kids. But we look around, and this is actually a Chris Bianco from, Phoenix's own Chris Bianco. We heard him say once that his mother says, who's richer than us? And that's something that we say to each other all the time, and our kids are jumping on the bed. We've got bills to pay, and we've got a tour to plan, and no, it's who's richer than us.
More than anything, they want to create community, keeping memories alive for generations to come.
Kin keepers. Every family has a kin keeper, whether you realize it or not. Somebody who fights, goes the extra mile for the memory.
Right.
Goes the extra mile to keep the tradition.
Yeah.
To keep everybody
together.
together. I think a lot of what we do is that kind of kin keeping tradition, and maybe the table's a little bigger than the dining room table I grew up with in Jacksonville, Florida. The table includes folks right here in Phoenix, Arizona.
I love them. Tickets for the War Is Over tour are now on sale. You can catch JOHNNYSWIM in Phoenix, March 27th. Coming up in the chat,
He thinks it's his duty as a big brother to protect his little brother from a bad relationship.
You weigh in on family disapprovals. Plus,
It's not about you right now. It's about everybody.
reality TV therapist James Kelleher gets real about what's real and answers the question we're all asking.
Would you be able to really have a successful relationship in 90 days?
All that and so much more still to come on this episode of Arizona's Family Original with me, Yetta Gibson. All right, it's that time again for In the Chat. And this week we are talking siblings and if they should have a say in who you date or not. Check this out.
One of my friends is a doozy. There's a guy who wrote an anonymous letter to Dear Abby. It's an advice column in the New York Post. He thinks it's his duty as a big brother to protect his little brother from a bad relationship. So he wants to break up his brother's engagement because he thinks he is settling for a woman who is the worst. He calls her the woat, the worst of all time. What if your sister or brother were marrying somebody that you just were like, oh no? Would you try to break them up?
Would you? So if you watched the latest season of Love is Blind, you will know two of the couples who eventually broke up partially because of disapprovals with the family. So here's what you all said. Nearly all of you who responded said you wouldn't say a thing. One of you saying, not my business, and another saying, you can't live your sibling's life. So we brought in a special guest to join the chat today, influencer Josh Watson. Hello, thanks for being here. Okay, first of all, what say you on all of this?
So I have a strong belief in that you should not live other people's life based on like your accordance, but Erykah Badu had this one song that she says, I'm not trying to run your life, but I want you to do what's right.
Okay.
So it's like, just in that sense alone, like I wish the best for you, but it couldn't be me.
Okay, so what if the partner was just the worst? Like more than just a feeling, you're like, I don't really like them, but what if they were doing stuff that was really bad for you?
I mean, you
as a
could pull them
sibling?
aside and tell them like, I have I have an older brother and an older sister, and they have dated some people that I'm just like, y'all know better. Like we was raised in the same house, but y'all know how we're supposed to be. But at the same time, like I can only push, and then over time, like maybe they see something that I don't,
right?
Which is fine, but it's like it's their life at the end of the day. So I just do my best to try to support them, but also like, hey, like I'm seeing stuff, I'm seeing some patterns here.
You probably have side eye too. I can see that. What about the other way around? What if they were like, Josh, no, please just no, and here's why, and the reasons were solid.
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, I would listen, like obviously, but maybe like they're not seeing stuff, but then also maybe like I'm seeing some red flags and or maybe I'm seeing like all green flags and I don't see a red flag. That they're like say, hey, like we know who you are. We know your patterns, and if it's back on me, then like, all right, like now I have to listen.
So it could change your mind depending on the flags that you're getting from the person.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. I appreciate your take. I gotta ask, you're an influencer. What do you do out here in Phoenix, Arizona?
Yeah, so I love putting on vegan events for the Valley. It's not just for vegan people, it's for everyone because everyone can eat vegan. So it's not like this strict dietary thing that people like no one can eat. Like everyone can eat vegan.
Yes.
So I like
try it.
Or try it. So it's just like this whole event called Vegan Social. It's where everyone comes in to 2nd Street and Roosevelt every second and third Saturday of the month, where they could come try different cuisine from all over the world, support local businesses, artists, makers, dance.
Yeah, and I just saw something that said maple, because when you think vegan, some people think, okay, everything tastes like, cardboard, but that's not the case. If you wanted to try it, there's a lot that you could learn about it.
So the video I think that's playing was when I made a maple oyster mushroom fried chicken sandwich.
A maple oyster?
Yeah, because like there's like hot chicken, but I was like, oyster mushroom pulls apart like that chicken texture.
Oh, that sounds...
And it has like a nice bite to it. So I love making things that taste like, because I mean, we eat these things for the texture, not so much.
Okay, well that's different. So how many people, I would try it though, Josh, I would try it. How many people show up to your events? Because it's really popular.
Yeah, so we get anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 people each month. And maybe 10% of the people are vegan, so it's just like their friends that are coming to experience like something new.
So if you had to let people know, like maybe you should try it, how would you convince them to come out to one of your events?
I would say the best way is through the stomach. There's a lot of good vegan businesses out there that make incredible food, some that you would even question if it's vegan or not. So it's just the best way is like to come try, sample.
And then
Just eat
see
through the summer
see
and
what
see. Yeah,
happens.
yeah.
Even if it's oyster and
Oyster
maple.
mush, hot
Yikes.
maple.
All right, I'll try it. I'm not knocking it, no shade. Josh, thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
here. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is this real?
Here's the tea.
That's what I want.
That's what you want. Here's the tea.
A first-hand dive into one of the most popular shows on TV. Coming up, a local therapist dishes on the psychology behind reality TV and if all of it really is real, is it?
You went out. Yeah. There was 2 hot blonde chicks, okay? Yeah. That Darcy saw you leave the club with. What'd you guys do after hours? Once again. Are you other women behind my back?
Oh my, that is a clip of one of the most popular reality shows on TV right now. I'm talking about 90 Day, The Last Resort. And in tonight's Not Done Yetta, an exclusive sit down with the Arizona man navigating all the feels this season.
It's not about you right now. It's about everybody, everybody.
Big emotions.
I feel betrayed right now. I feel like divorce has become a stronger possibility.
And the complexities of the world watching every week. It's the reality of reality TV. Is this real?
It is real. You know, here's the thing. People think reality TV, it's all scripted and it's fake. But the reality is people are coming in with issues, personal issues to them, as well as issues around the couple. And here's the tea.
That's what I want.
That's what you
Let's see. That's James Kelleher, an Arizona-based licensed therapist, podcaster, life coach, and now reality TV therapist.
Even if things may be dramatized for the cameras, right? Even if you may turn it on a little bit for the camera, there's real life issues that I've picked up on.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were really only able to tap into some of those. So there was a lot there.
Yeah, and capture it for TV. You've probably seen James if you watch the hit TLC show 90 Day, The Last Resort. Did you know it was shot at the Omni Monte Lucia in Scottsdale? James is part of the Relationship Boot Camp. The couples work with him and other counselors to tackle issues like many of us face.
Something from your past is affecting you that is causing your actions, your behaviors, for you to respond in a certain way.
I'm talking jealousy, anger, even intimacy. The thing is, you're only seeing a sliver of it. What is it really like behind the scenes of the show?
For me, I think there's so many different levels to it. It's the reality of what's happening in front of you. Having legit 2-hour therapy sessions.
Wow.
And you see maybe a minute, maybe even seconds. Play out.
The edits. James says he's even learned about himself, even as cast members turn to him for advice. And you can too, just by watching one episode. And why is that important to you?
I feel like the biggest thing is it normalizes it for people. You know, again, here's the reality is you're watching people and things playing out, and whether you feel like it's dramatic or not, many people, these messages can resonate,
I got you.
right?
Yeah.
Whether you're dealing with your own individual journey related to family or self-help, being in a relationship, you can also see how people communicate, or the do's and the don'ts watching someone
watching
couples,
someone
right?
else.
Okay, let's pack it up.
She's not going to make a compromise with the baby. I'm not going to make a compromise with parents.
Have you ever had a moment where you're like, I can't help these people. I can't help this couple. I can't do this. This is beyond anything I can do.
I had moments where it was like, we need to break. We need to pause right now, right? Knowing that it was a reset. So less about, I can't help you or be there for you, but more about, we have to pivot. That's become my new word. We gotta pivot. We gotta pivot through all this.
Okay, time out. So you know I had to ask the question we all have when watching these type of shows. In real life, sorry, you know I'm a journalist, I gotta get the answer.
Yes.
Would you be able to really have a successful relationship in 90 days?
If you do it the right way.
Is it okay?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like it happens. I think the key is we have to make sure you have a toolbox.
Okay.
We have to make sure there's a foundation.
Okay. And you can listen to James's podcast, Living Life with James, on all streaming platforms right now. Season 2 of the finale of 90 Day, The Last Resort, airs on TLC March 24th. Thank you so much for joining us on this Arizona's Family original. You can connect with me. Our Instagram handle is down below. Follow us to be in tune with the latest news and entertainment and more behind the scenes stuff. We'll see you again next week.
You're getting the real story, the scoop in Phoenix.
Reading it hot. I hope it's all good.
We've been together, it'll be 20 years in October that we've been together. So it'll be 23 years since the day I said that's the girl I'm gonna marry. That makes me feel really good.
The goal is to look dewy fresh, effortlessly gorge. Walk backwards. Boom, 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 boom. Don't fall. Whoa, bye, hello.